Well, hello there, my beautiful friends. So today we have yet again another swatch party video. We are going to be swatching the unreleased, brand new, up-and-coming Devinah Cosmetics Galaxy Dust Shifters. So if you are interested in seeing what these gorgeous, multi-chromatic, galaxy-esque eyeshadows are all about, then go ahead and keep on watching and let's jump right on in. So I know what you guys are thinking right now. Is she really doing another swatch video? And my answer to that is yes, absolutely. I made a promise to you guys the second that I got the Galaxy Dust Shifters in the mail, I would sit down and record a swatch party video, so that is exactly what we are going to be doing here today. Now, Devinah Cosmetics is coming out with the Galaxy Dust Shifter collection, obviously, and this will be available on June 2nd at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, if you feel like you're having deja vu, if you feel like you've heard that from me before, and you're a frequent watcher of my channel, that is because this collection will be launching at the exact same time as the Willy Wonka Xploders collection, which I reviewed recently here on my channel and did a swatch party video as well. Now, both of these collections share a similar formula. These are both sparkly, multi-chromatic, toppery goodness type eyeshadows, but obviously the color schemes are polar opposites. The Willy Wonka Xploders collection is obviously candy colored. We got pastel pink, we got pastel blue, pastel purple. How many times can one person say pastel in a sentence? And of course, the Galaxy Dust Shifters are a bit more grungy, a little bit deeper in tone. We have some really beautiful earthy tones. We have deep olive, we have rusty red. We obviously have some galaxy inspired colors here. So these will be available for $8 each, and 7 different shades are going to be in the collection, or you can pick up all 7 for $49, which makes each shadow $7, knocking off $1 per shadow. Now, these are all vegan, and I also have an affiliate code. That affiliate code is EmilyVioletMarie, all one word, and it will be for 20% off of your entire purchase. So basically what that means here is that if you decide to use my code, I will make a little bit of side money, a little bit of taco money, and obviously that money goes straight back into my channel. We all know I'm addicted to buying makeup, and obviously that money would go right back in to buying things to review here for my channel. So if you choose to use the code, then thank you so much. I appreciate the heck out of you. I love you. And even if you don't, then thank you for being here and watching. I love you and appreciate the heck out of you as well. But enough of my rambling here. Let's go ahead and jump right on into these beautiful swatches of the Galaxy Dust collection. Now, jumping right on into the first shade in the collection, we have Cygnus, which is a red-based eyeshadow that has a golden shift as well as an orange shift. You're going to see it in the swatch, but this shadow is definitely a little bit rustier than the rest of them. We have quite a few maroon-toned eyeshadows in this collection, and Cygnus is definitely the most rusty looking of them all. You can really see that orange undertone peeking through, as well as the golden sheen and the golden micro shimmers. Now, this formula, as well as all the other Galaxy Dust shadows, all have micro shimmers running throughout them, but they're not chunky, they're not glitters, they're not anything that's gonna fall out over your face or be anything that's too distracting. They just add another layer of a multi-dimensional goodness here. Now, I'm just picking up a little bit of Cygnus on my finger. I'm gonna be doing a finger swatch, a brush swatch on bare, unprimed skin, and a brush swatch over top of glitter glue, which is how Devinah suggests that you apply it. Now, like I said, you're not really gonna get any fallout with these, but the glitter glue really helps to make these pop. It really helps to make them stay all day, because these are micro shimmer filled eyeshadows, so you need something for them to kind of grip onto. As you can see here, we picked some more of Cygnus up, and we're just going to be swatching this on bare, unprimed, dry ass skin here. As you can see, it applies totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that swatch, but you'll see over top of the glitter glue, it really pops, it really shines. You can really see the base tone and the base color peeking through. So I definitely suggest these to be used with glitter glue. As you can see, the swatch with the glitter glue looks almost as intense, if not just as much intense, as the finger swatch, which is pretty impressive in my opinion. Next up here, we have Megalonyx, which I have no idea what that means. It took me like 5 times to say that correctly here. But this is a maroon-based eyeshadow that has a bit more of a red base kind of mixed into it as well. This shadow has a strong warm purple shift with an orange shift as well, and some orange sparks. But the difference between Cygnus and Megalonyx, got it right this time, is that Megalonyx is much more wine-toned, while Cygnus is much more rusty. That's a mouthful. But as you can see, Megalonyx is a little bit more purple based, a little bit more raisin toned, if you will. But the actual base colors are pretty similar in the sense that both of them are deeper, kind of maroon based reds. But as you can see in the swatch, you can really see those purple sparks kind of peeking through, and it just gives the overall eyeshadow much more of a red wine kind of tone. As you can see, we have a little bit of Megalonyx picked up on the brush here, and we're going to be packing it down onto the unprimed skin. As you can see, just like with Cygnus, these apply totally fine without the base, but they're just going to perform so much better with the base. Now we're applying a layer right over top of glitter glue, and it looks almost spot on to the finger swatch. The base pigment really shines through once you put that glitter glue down, and I really didn't have to build up that glitter glue swatch very much at all. I basically just used my brush to kind of smooth out the swatch a little bit, but there was no additional product on that swatch. These shadows are absolutely beautiful, and they are surprisingly pigmented for being a topper eyeshadow, which is the same thing that I said with the Willy Wonka Xploders. Those had me absolutely shook over how pigmented they were without even really having to build them up much, and the Galaxy Dust shadows have proven to do the exact same thing to me as well. So jumping into the next shade, we have Starfire, which I don't know if any of you guys out there watched Teen Titans when you were younger, but that's all I can think about is Starfire from Teen Titans, who I was obsessed with when I was little. I wanted to be just like her, which is very strange because she was a cartoon character, but nonetheless. Starfire is a berry maroon based eyeshadow that has a violet purple shift, and it also has some purple micro shimmers running throughout it as well. Because of the purple micro shimmers, it really gives Starfire a more deepened, kind of blackened base tone to it, versus the other two that I showed earlier that have a bit more of a lighter tone. It also has much more of a purple base, and it really does pull a little bit more berry than the other two reds that I've shown so far as well. So now we're picking up a little bit on a brush, and we're going to be swatching it on unprimed skin. I do find that all of the formulas of the Galaxy Dust shifters and even the Willy Wonka Xploders seem to have a very consistent formula. There isn't one that's a little bit patchier than another. There isn't one that's a little bit more pigmented. They all seem to have the same consistency with formula, which is amazing because we have such a vast variety of shades between the two collections. And once you combine the two collections, we have so many different types of colors in both collections, and the fact that they are all relatively consistent to each other as far as the formula goes is super cool and impressive, and you know that you're going to be getting something good. If you like the formula, if you try one and you want to try more, you know you're going to be getting something that you enjoy. So now we are jumping into Scylla, which is an indigo based eyeshadow. This is the deepest one that I've shown so far, and this shadow has a berry purple shift to it. It also has some purple micro shimmers as well as some indigo micro shimmer, and as you can see, Scylla is a very smoky toned shade, but because you have those gorgeous berry purple sparks running throughout it and you have those beautiful micro shimmers, it just gives the eyeshadow such an interesting depth. As you can see, in some lights it looks more blue, in some lights it looks more maroon, some lights it looks a little bit more berry. If you are a fan of MAC's Blue Brown, this shadow is for you. This shadow is like MAC's Blue Brown, but obviously we have much more of a purple base here, which I personally find to be more interesting than just the brown base. So obviously Scylla is reminiscent of MAC's Blue Brown, but I think that the shadow is just so much more interesting. It just has so much more depth to it. As you can see, when the light hits it a certain way, it looks super indigo, and then when you turn the pan a certain way, it looks much more purple, looks a little bit more maroon based on how you turn it. It is a super interesting and dimensional eyeshadow, and if you are into MAC's Blue Brown, I highly suggest getting Scylla because I do not think you will even reach for MAC's Blue Brown after trying this guy. Once you have the best, you can just never go back. The next shadow is surprisingly my favorite of the collection, and I know you're probably thinking, what? Huh? Green? But yeah, I don't understand it either. This is Celesta, and it is an absolutely stunning olive-based eyeshadow with a super strong golden shift and a super strong bronze shift as well. And it also has some golden micro shimmers running throughout it, which just gives it such a strong sheen and dimension. Like, hello, look at that swatch. Look how beautiful that swatch is. As you can see in the swatch, the shade looks much more golden and almost bronzy with a hint of olive. In the pan, it just looks like straight up olive, but once you actually get it on the skin, it turns much more golden, which I personally love. I think the shade is beautiful. One of my favorite colors from Pat McGrath is Astral Fire Opal, which is a really beautiful kind of golden green shade as well. And I would say that this is a pretty darn close dupe. Now, Astral Fire Opal is a different formula. It's a baked formula, but the actual tone of this eyeshadow is very reminiscent to me of Pat McGrath's Fire Opal, which is one of my favorites from her. It is beautiful. It's very expensive, but she's beautiful. This shadow is absolutely stunning, and I think that just the amount of sheen that you get with this shadow and the undertones that are in it makes it my favorite. And it was very unexpected, like I said, because normally I do not reach for shadows like this very often, if at all. And this shadow just really caught my attention. It really made me want to reach for olive toned eyeshadows. And I'm definitely going to be experimenting with this guy in the near future because it is absolutely freaking stunning. You see that swatch. You're seeing it, you're looking at it. It is absolutely beautiful. There's no denying it. The second to last shade in the collection is called Asteria, which is an emerald-based eyeshadow that has a maroon shift, some emerald micro shimmers, and also a hint of purple and a hint of teal, which is a lot. But trust me, this eyeshadow is very multi-dimensional. There's a lot packed into this tiny little pan. As you can see here, it looks emerald, kind of foresty green-esque when you look at it straight on, but then when you start to turn the pan, you can really see the purple and maroon shift kind of running through it. And once you actually get it on the skin, you're going to see that teal kind of undertone that's going on back there somewhere, hidden in the background. It is a really beautiful eyeshadow, and I was surprised by how many different colors was in this eyeshadow. This is another eyeshadow that would make a really interesting smoky eye if you are into deeper toned eyeshadows. If you like doing smoky eyes often, this is definitely something that I think would be a perfect addition to your collection because it's such an interesting color, and I can't think of anything that I have in my collection or really that I've seen before that looks exactly like this. I feel like this shade would be pretty hard to dupe. It is really beautiful. As you can see, these pick up wonderfully with a brush, even over unprimed skin. And of course, on top of glitter glue, this is just the most gorgeous emerald eyeshadow that has so many beautiful colors running throughout it. It's such a surprise. These eyeshadows have just come as such a surprise to me because of all of the different colors and tones that are running throughout them. They are super shiny, not overly sparkly. I think they would make the perfect addition to your collection if you are into deeper toned eyeshadows, if you like jewel tones. These are some really beautiful shadows to definitely look into. And we have reached the final eyeshadow here. This is the shade Messier or Messier. I'm not 100% sure if I'm even saying that right, but nonetheless, this is a blackened teal-based eyeshadow. So as you can see, it has a very deep, kind of smoky teal undertone to it, which also has an indigo shift and maroon and teal micro shimmers. This is another shade that is kind of reminiscent of Max Blue Brown, but just so much better, so much more improved than Max Blue Brown. We have beautiful tones of teal and indigo and maroon running throughout this shadow, and we have a little bit of purple as well. And the shadow just really reminds me of that oil in the street kind of look. That sounds a little bit obscure for something that you're going to put on your eyeballs, but you know what I'm saying? It is beautiful to look at, and the shadow is no different. Now, to me, the most similar shade in the collection is Scylla, which was the indigo-based shadow that has the berry purple shift and the purple sparks running throughout it. But Messier definitely has more of a teal base versus Scylla, which had that kind of cool-toned, purpley, indigo-esque base. If you are the kind of person who is into cool toned shadows, if you like deeper, kind of smokier blue tones, I would stick with Scylla if you had to choose between the two of them. And if you're someone who's into teal and you're into a little bit warmer of shadows, a little bit rustier, if you will, then I would definitely go with Messier. As you can see in the swatch here, when we first place down the eyeshadow, the shadow definitely has more of a maroon undertone. And then when you start to build it up, you get that teal sparkle and the teal sheen running throughout it. And you can see a little bit more of the cool toned qualities of this shadow. But it definitely has that warmer toned base versus Scylla, which just has a bit cooler toned of a base than Messier. But luckily, we have some gorgeous swatches to stare at and be mesmerized by. So I'm gonna go ahead, shut my mouth here, and let you guys enjoy these absolutely gorgeous swatches of the Galaxy Dust eyeshadows. stunning. If you've been on the fence about them, if you're not 100% sure if you want them, I say they are definitely worth a shot. They're definitely worth a try. I think you'll fall in love with them because I have absolutely fell head over heels in love with the shifter formula from Devinah. Absolutely fantastic if you are into sparkles but you don't want something that's chunky, something that's overly in your face. They are definitely a little bit more refined, a little bit more sophisticated than a lot of the glittery shadows that I've seen on the market. But with that being said, that is going to be wrapping up today's video. So if you are not already subscribed and you would like to be, if you want to see more swatches, if you want to keep up with what's new in the makeup world, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and stay in the loop. And if you enjoyed the video and if you found it helpful in any way, then I would absolutely love it if you gave me a big old thumbs up. It helps out the channel, it helps out tiny little creators like me, little microscopic YouTube people like myself. So if you choose to do so, then I greatly appreciate you. But with that being said, I hope that you are having an absolutely amazing and beautiful day wherever you are, and thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope to see you next time. Bye!